how you doing? This is TV and school. Вивчаємо з тобою ми англійську. How are you? Що скажеш, коли ти зустрінеш якогось іноземця? So, let's speak English. Англійська мова Шекспіра та нью-йоркських таксистів. Англійська стане у нагоді вам, бойс і дівчиська.
Hello everybody, my name is Anna and this is an English lesson. So, grade 9. Today we continue working with the topic youth culture. We are going to continue practicing gerund and infinitive. Well, let's start with an exercise at once. So, our task is to read the words in the box and guess their meaning. Then we have to use the words to complete the questions. So, let's take a look at the words. Answer back, conflicts, moody, stress out, risky, ups and downs. Okay, let's take a look at every word once again, one by one, and figure out what they mean. Отже, давайте подивимось на кожне слово ще раз, одне за одним, та спробуємо здогадатися, що вони означають. So, the first one, answer back. So, that's actually when you answer somebody a little bit in an insulting way. The next one, conflicts. So, that's when people argue together and there are many different arguments. Moody. So, if you know the word mood, you know that you can be whether in a good mood or in a bad mood. So, if you're moody, that means that you are in a bad mood. So, you're not very okay. You don't like some things that are going on. The next one is to stress out. So, to stress out means to feel very stressed. So, there are stressful situations around you, and they make you feel uncomfortable or stressed out. The next one is risky. So, what would be the meaning? Definitely something connected with risk. So, risky means ризикований. The next one and the last one, ups and downs. Well, actually here we have the meaning that is very similar to advantages, good things, and disadvantages. When we talk about a person's mood, the ups and downs can be used to talk about something good or something bad. So, let's take a look at the first sentence and let's figure out which word we should use to fill in the gap here. So, do you sometimes feel? If so, why? How can we feel? Where is the word that tells us about the feelings? Take a look at the box once again. So yeah, I'm quite sure you've guessed it right. The word is moody. The next one, number 2. Do you sometimes do things? If so, what are they? So which word can we use here? What kind of things are we talking about? Probably we are talking about risky things. That's right. Number 3. Do you, your parents or teachers? Do you know it's a sign of bad behavior? So what can be a sign of a bad behavior? When you tell somebody something not very pleasant. When somebody tells you off, like your parents or teachers, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to hear that. I'm quite okay with everything. So, it means that you will answer back. And that's the phrase that we need here. Do you answer back your parents or teachers? The next one, number 4. What thinks you the most? Okay, here we will need 2 words to complete the gaps. Take a look at the words once again. We only have conflicts, stress out, ups and downs left. So yeah, here we should use the word stress out. So, what things stress you out the most? Number 5. How do you deal with the something in your life? So, we can have different situations, and we would call these situations as good or bad. So, that depends on our perception. So, here we will use the phrase ups and downs. Okay, let's move to the next one, and the last one here. Number 6. How do you solve something with other people. So when we have some arguments, misunderstandings with other people, we will call them conflicts. So here we will use the word conflicts, of course, and the question sounds as, how do you solve conflicts with other people? Good. Well done. Now that you know the words, now that we have matched them to the questions, to the gaps in the questions, you can give it a think. You can stop here and think, what would be your personal answers to these questions? So, do you sometimes feel moody? If so, why? What things stress you out the most? How do you deal with ups and downs? And how do you actually solve the conflicts with other people? Now that you have thought about it, let's move to tiny reading. So take a look. Here we have an introduction to the article on arguing, and think if you agree or disagree with what the introduction says. Take a look. Here we have also 3 statements to which we need to find the phrases that support this information as true. Отже, нам необхідно прочитати вступ до статті, а також знайти фрази, які будуть відповідати 3 твердженням, які у нас вказані на початку. So let's take a look at the statements first of all. Number 1. Teenagers use unpleasant comments when they argue. Teenagers want you to feel guilty for all their worries. Teenagers react emotionally in arguments. So these are the statements that we need to find the supporting information in the article. Let's take a look at the introduction. Давайте подивимось на вступ. So, how to avoid arguments with teenagers? Arguing with a teenager is not fun. Over the years, they have learned ways of arguing which are hurtful, full of sarcasm, and which make adults feel responsible for all their problems. And what is worse, arguments with teenagers are not helpful because young people never think before they say horrible things to somebody. Okay, so do you agree or disagree with this introduction? Do you agree or disagree with what it says? So, anyways, let's take a look at the statements once again, and let's try to find the information that supports these statements. So, now you have some time to think and find this information on your own. Отже, зараз ви маєте час трішечки подумати та знайти цю інформацію самостійно. And now, let's check. Давайте перевіримо. So, in number 1, we have unpleasant comments. This phrase is paraphrased in the introduction so that it sounds as ways of arguing which are hurtful. The next one is to feel guilty for all their worries. This part of the sentence is paraphrased as make adults feel responsible for all their problems. So, feel guilty, feel responsible, but not in a good way. The next one is to react emotionally in arguments, and you can see it here in the last sentence. Never think before they say horrible things. So when you do something without thinking, probably you act emotionally. Okay, now that we have warmed up a little bit, let's take a look at the rest of the text. Now our task is to read the rest of the article and say whether the statements after it are true or false. You will see the statements a little bit later. Now let's take a look at the text. Teenagers argue when they feel the rules are too limiting and when adults don't treat them as grown-ups. They rebel when they are told what to do, when parents choose their clothes or their friends, when adults say, "When I was young, things were different." So how can adults avoid arguments with such young, rebellious minds? When it comes to discussing a problem, it's better to listen to teenagers and let them say what they think and feel. Listening doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say. It simply means they are treated as partners in a conversation. it's important for teenagers to learn to compromise. They may not want to compromise all the time, but they should learn to understand that they can't always do what they want. Compromising teaches teenagers to see other points of view. Adults should learn to give more freedom to teenagers, especially over the weekend when it is time for them to relax. Though asking to call parents and say where they are and what they are doing, it's a compromise, but it shows that the teenagers are trusted. It also makes them feel more grown up. Parents shouldn't joke about the appearance of their teenage children. What seems silly to an adult may be very important to them. They should know that they are loved, with or without good marks at school. Also, it is necessary to remember to never criticize them in front of others. So now we have read the text and we are ready to say whether the statements after it are true or false. Let's take a look at the statements. So, the first one. Teenagers argue when they feel they control their decisions. What is said in the text about it? Is it true or false? Okay. This one is false. So, when the teenagers feel that they control their decisions, they probably won't argue, will they? The next one, number 2. Listening helps adults understand the teenage point of view. Is this true or false? Is it important for a teenager to be heard and listened to? Yes, of course. This statement is true. The third one, teenagers have to learn to compromise sometimes. So, is this statement correct or incorrect according to what we've read in the text? All right. This one is, of course, correct. It's important for teenagers to learn how to compromise. Number 4. Teenagers don't need freedom to feel like adults. Or do they? What was actually mentioned in the text about it? Of course, this statement is false. Teenagers do need freedom to feel like adults. Number 5. There are some things adults should not do when talking to a teenager. Are all the things okay for the adults to do when they talk to a teenager? Probably not. So, this one is, of course, true. Number 6. The text gives advice to both adults and teenagers. Does it actually give some pieces of advice for both grown-ups and for the teenagers? Yes, of course. The text suggests what both age groups should do and should not do. So both adults and teenagers, the pieces of advice to these people are mentioned in the text. All right, well done. Now it's time to move to some grammar. Let's take a look at the pairs of the sentences here. Some of them make tiny dialects. So our task is to compare the sentences in pairs. So let's take a look at the first pair of sentences. It's a tiny dialect here. Oh no, I completely forgot to call my mom. Have you forgotten calling her an hour ago? So how would you translate this dialect? How do you understand the difference here? As you understand, here we have different forms of the verb after the word forget. So first we say forgot to call, and then we say forgotten calling. So what is the difference in meaning, if any? So in the first sentence, we were saying about something that happened that we were supposed to do, but it did not happen. In the second sentence, we are talking about something that actually happened in the past. So when we translate them, they will sound like this. Я повністю забув подзвонити мамі. Ти що, забув, як ти їй дзвонив годину тому? So, can you feel the difference here? That's great. Now let's move to the second pair of sentences. Please remember to hand in your homework after the lesson. I don't remember doing this task at all. When was it assigned? So, what is the difference here? remember to hand in. It's like, don't forget to do it. Не забудь це зробити в майбутньому. Будь ласка, не забудь здати свою домашню роботу після уроку. And there is an answer. I don't remember doing this task at all. We're talking about the past action. Тобто я взагалі не пам'ятаю, як я в минулому виконував це завдання, коли нам його задавали. So here lays the difference. The next pair of sentences. I saw Jane on Sunday. We stopped to have a chat. She's still so lovely. Wow, I actually thought you stopped talking 2 years ago and would never talk to each other again. So, what is the difference here? I saw Jane on Sunday, we stopped to have a chat. It means that I was walking down the street and then I stopped to have a conversation with Jane. So I stopped walking and then I talked to Jane. And the second sentence suggests that we finished talking at all. So we were not communicating with her and that happened 2 years ago, and since then we haven't talked at all. And we're actually not going to continue doing that. So, if we translate them, we will say that ми зупинились, щоб поговорити. А я взагалі-то думав, що ви перестали спілкуватися 2 роки тому. So, here is the difference between the form of the verb that we use after the verb stop. So, stop to do something or stop doing something. Okay, let's move to the next pair of sentences. It's also a short dialogue. I've been trying to download this file for an hour. Did you try pressing this tiny button over here? So, in the first sentence, we're talking about something very difficult. Я вже намагаюся завантажити цей файл протягом години. І це дуже складно, він не завантажується. And the answer is, а чи ти пробував натиснути ось цю маленьку кнопочку? So, in the first sentence, we're talking about something very difficult. So we say, try to do something. And in the second sentence, we're talking about experiments. So we're talking about trying different options. Отже, ми намагаємося спробувати декілька варіантів у другому реченні. І ми для цього будемо вживати try plus ing. Try doing something. Okay. And the last pair of sentences, they are not a dialogue, but let's take a look at the difference here as well. We regret to inform you that your delivery has been delayed. So, this sounds too official, doesn't it? And the second one, I regret texting my friend last night. I was in a bad mood, and I'm afraid my words hurt her. So, in the first sentence, we announce officially some information. In the second sentence, we just regret, we feel sorry about something that happened in the past. So, in the first sentence, it's kind of an official way to say sorry. In the second sentence, it's when you express your feeling of being sorry for something that you did in the past. Okay, now let's take a look at the exercise. Let's practice these structures. Match the verb plus gerund or infinitive with the correct meaning. So, here we have the pairs of the words, the pairs of the structures, and their meanings to the right. So, let's take a look at the first couple of words. Stop to do and stop doing. We need to match them with the correct definitions, with the correct options. So, you stop one activity because you want or need to do another activity, or you are doing something and then you stop. Отже, маємо два значення дієслова stop, після якого ми можемо вживати to do або doing. Яке ж значень правильне? So let's take a look at the first pair, at the first word, stop to do. So when we stop to do something, it means that we pause some activity and then we do something else. Then maybe we will get back to the previous activity. So here, of course, we need to match stop to do and the first explanation. The second, stop doing, obviously goes together with you are doing something and then you stop. The next pair of the words, remember to do and remember doing. And here are the meanings. You do something and then you remember it later. Отже, ми робимо щось, а потім пізніше про це згадуємо. You remember you need to do something and then you do it. Отже, ми пам'ятаємо, що нам потрібно щось зробити, а потім ми це робимо. So, when we say that we remember to do something, which meaning will we use here? Of course, that will be the second one. And as you can see here, remember doing matches with you do something and then you remember it later. All right, let's move to the next pair of words. Forget to do and forget doing. So we have two meanings here. You don't do something that you intended to do, and you did something, but no, you don't remember it. So, what do you think? Which word, which structure matches which meaning? Okay. First of all, of course, when we forget to do something, it means that we do not do something that we wanted to do. Отже, якщо ми вживаємо forget to do, ми кажемо, що ми забули щось зробити, що ми хотіли зробити. Отже, я забув це зробити. Я забув зробити це завдання. And the next one is forget doing something. So, you did something, but you don't remember doing it. Ми, можливо, щось робили, але ми зовсім не пам'ятаємо, як це відбувалось. So, and the last pair of words, like to do and like doing. Yeah, you probably remember that in the beginning of the topic, we said that with the verbs of liking and disliking, such as like, love, dislike, and hate, we usually use ing. But as you can see, also the infinitive can be used. There is a difference in the meaning, of course. Let's find out. So, we either do something because we enjoy doing it. Отже, ми щось робимо, і нам це дуже подобається. Або you do something because you think it's a good idea. Ми робимо щось, тому що це здається нам гарною ідеєю. So, what would be the difference? Which form of the verb will we use after like to express the meanings that are stated here? So, let's check. When we like doing something, it means that we enjoy it. And when we like to do something, it means that actually we think it's a good idea. It's a good thing to do something this or that way. Okay, now that we have revised the differences between the meanings here, let's move to practice. Our task is to choose the correct alternative. So, number one, I remember to playing with the tablet when I was young. So, remember doing something in the past or remember to do something in the future. So, when I was young, definitely, this is I remember playing with the tablet when I was young, in the past. We're talking about our past memories here. The second one, the teacher's angry because I forgot to do or doing my homework. Отже, я забув зробити домашнє завдання, чи я не пам'ятаю, як я робив домашнє завдання. Probably the teacher is disappointed and angry because the student has not brought the homework to school. So the student has not finished or has not done homework at all. Here we will use the infinitive. I forgot to do my homework. The next one, number 3. I like to go or going to the dentist twice a year. Do I enjoy going to the dentist twice a year? I don't think so. There are probably not many people in the world that really love going to the dentist. So here we probably think it's a good idea to have checkups at a dentist twice a year. Отже, тут ми вважаємо, що це хороша ідея, це досить корисно ходити до дантиста двічі на рік. Отже, ми говоримо не про enjoy, а ми говоримо про good idea. So here we will use the infinitive. I like to go to the dentist twice a year. The next one, number 4. We stopped to eat or eating because we were hungry. Отже, ми були голодні. Ми зупинилися, щоб поїсти, чи ми перестали їсти. So, we stopped to eat or we stopped eating. When we say we stopped eating, it means that we were not eating at all, so we finished eating. Here we need to use the infinitive, of course, so we stopped to eat. Ми зупинилися, щоб поїсти. The next one, number 5. Did you forget to bring or bring in a pen? Don't worry, I've got a spare one. Ти що, забув принести ручку? Не хвилюйся, в мене є запасна. So, here we will use the infinitive, of course. Did you forget to bring a pen? We're not talking about past memories, so we do not need the ing. The next one, number 6. Can you remember to give or given this to Dan when you see him tomorrow? So, can you remember? Are we talking about past memories, or are we talking about something that a person needs to do in the future? Yeah, that will be the second meaning. Отже, ми говоримо про те, що необхідно зробити в майбутньому. Будь ласка, не забудь щось зробити. Here we will use the infinitive. Can you remember to give it to Dan when you see him tomorrow? Number 7. You look really healthy now that you've stopped to eat or eating junk food. Here we'll probably talk about something that has finished. So that's a finished action. The person does not eat junk food anymore. Тобто людина вже перестала їсти нездорову їжу. So here we will use the ing, of course, to express this very meaning. Отже, для того, щоб показати саме це значення, ми будемо вживати закінчення ing в дієслові eat. All right, and the last one here, number 8. My dad likes to get or getting up early because that means he can finish work early too. So, does he like to get or getting up? So, here we will use ing. So, dad enjoys waking up in the morning very early because that helps him do a lot of things. Okay, and another one, another exercise. Our task is to decide whether the sentences are correct or incorrect. And we will rewrite the incorrect sentences. Number 1. I have to go back home because I forgot switching the oven off. So, I forgot switching. Is that correct? Are we talking about our memories? Like, I don't remember switching the oven off? No, we're actually talking about that we forgot to do it. Я забув вимкнути плиту. I forgot to switch the oven off. Number 2. Can you remember bringing me my book tomorrow because I need it? So, can you remember bringing? Is that correct? Is it correct to talk about the future actions that we need to do? No. We use remember bringing to talk about memories. So, here we need the infinitive, of course. Can you remember to bring? Не забудь принести мою книжку. Number 3. I think it's time to start to revise for the exam. So, can we start to revise? Yes, of course. This sentence is correct. Number 4. Stop to play that song because it's awful. So, stop to play. Yeah, here we have the infinitive, to plus infinitive. Is it correct to use it like this? Definitely not. We're talking about finishing the activity. So, we need to use the ing, stop playing, перестань грати цю пісню. The next one, number 5. I like getting up early when I have an exam. So, I like getting up early when I have an exam. Do I enjoy it, or do I think it's just a good idea to wake up early and not to be in a rush and to get ready for an exam? Yeah, the second meaning would be correct here. So we need to change ing to the infinitive. I like to get up because I think it's a good idea. The next one, don't worry, I won't forget to send you emails when you're away. So is it correct? Can we say, I won't forget to send you emails when you're away? Yeah, sure. We keep it like this. So, I won't forget. Я не забуду надсилати тобі листи в майбутньому. So we are talking about something that will happen in the future. Here we use the infinitive. Number 7 now. I'll always remember to meet you for the first time last summer. Doesn't it sound clumsy to you? Yeah, there's definitely a mistake in this sentence. So we need to change the infinitive to ing. I'll always remember meeting you. Тобто я завжди буду пам'ятати, як ми зустрілися вперше минулого літа. And the last sentence here. I love video games so much that I don't think I'll ever stop playing them. Is this sentence correct or incorrect? Is there a need for us to change something here? Actually, no. We simply keep it as I'll never stop playing, I'll never finish playing video games. All right, well done. Now let's move to the home assignment. So, as the next lesson is going to be the last on this topic, your task is to revise the rules of usage of gerund and infinitive. And of course, don't forget about the vocabulary that we've been learning through the topic. Okay, thank you very much and see you next time.